It is now my honor to introduce our commencement speaker, Dr. Ruth Turner. Dr. Turner is an exemplary Nazareth changemaker in so many ways. She is a champion of all children and families, especially the most vulnerable. She lives and leads restorative justice and anti-racism. And she is a dedicated advocate for education as a powerful pathway for equity and social mobility. Dr. Turner has impacted thousands of young lives, thereby strengthening our society in so many ways. We are deeply proud to call her an alumna of Nazareth College. Dr. Turner.
Thank you so much, President Paul and members of the Board of Trustees. To the faculty and staff of Nazareth College, it is indeed an honor to be afforded the opportunity and privilege of addressing the class of 2022 and the Nazareth community. I want to recognize the family, friends, and others who have supported the class of 2022. Please once again join me in honoring the parents, the partners, siblings, grandparents, extended family networks, and all who have encouraged and contributed to making this day possible for all the graduates. Their accomplishment is indeed our accomplishment. And most importantly, the class of 2022, you did it. Congratulations. This is a tremendous milestone for each of you. So today I want to consider this in my address, what it means to be a change maker. And I wish to ground my remarks in a quote by Margaret Kuhn, better known as Maggie Kuhn, co-founder of the Grey Panthers in the early 1970s. In commenting on what it means to be an activist, she said, "Leave safety behind. Put your body on the line. Stand behind the people you fear and speak your mind. Even if your voice shakes, when you least expect it, someone may actually listen to what you have to say. Well-aimed slingshots can indeed overthrow giants." I'm sure your educational endeavors have been challenged by, of course, COVID-19. We've learned to navigate Zoom. We've experienced Zoom fatigue, remote learning, COVID testing, hybrid classes, quarantine, and so much more. But despite all of these challenges, you made it. It's been that's okay, you can clap. It's been 24 years, almost to the day, that I stood where you sit now, as it was my graduation also from Nazareth College. As a first-generation college graduate in my family, I appreciate and understand the importance of a quality education. Higher education opens the doors to the world and prepare us to take our place in that world. As I reflect on my time as a student at NAS, I am keenly aware of how NAS prepared me, not only in my professional endeavors and development as a social worker, but also for life. You see, I met and married my husband and best friend at Nazareth College. And it was here that I met one of my most significant mentors and friend, Professor Shirley Sharp. Because of these things and many other, NAS will always be a special place to me. It is also a distinct honor to serve as part of the teaching faculty as an adjunct instructor in the social work department for the past 8 years. Nazareth College has a long and rich history of developing and nurturing change makers. As a matter of fact, the mission statement says, "It is Nazareth's mission to be a leader of transformative education through action for social justice, preparing and inspiring courageous change makers for their work." Such a profound statement requires some unpacking. The key issues that we want to unpack is what do we mean by the phrase change makers? How would we define change makers? Simply put, A change maker is someone who is taking courageous, audacious, and creative action to solve a social problem and to contribute in a meaningful way to our society. Having heard the definition, some of you may be thinking, wait, I'm going to be a teacher, a nurse, an artist, a physical therapist, etc. How can I be a change maker? Great question. In every sector, organization, and profession, social problems exist. So no matter where you land or what you do, you can be a change maker. So what are some of the characteristics of change makers? First, change makers do not merely acknowledge a social problem, but they are motivated to act. In the lives of change makers, intentions are transformed into action. This requires radical empathy and tenacious commitment. Second, change makers understand the necessity of stepping away from safe places and embracing brave spaces. Brave spaces are those that invite dialogue, innovation, and accountability. Third, change makers are courageous in the way that President Franklin D. Roosevelt talked about. Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the assessment that something else is more important than fear. Rooted in this courage, changemakers have the courage to see and do things differently than they have already been done. Fourth, changemakers appreciate the necessity of being a lifelong learner and the importance of the practice of critical self-reflection. Michael Jackson captured the essence of this idea of self-reflection in his song, Man in the Mirror. The popular refrain of the song says, and trust me, I won't sing it, don't worry. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If they want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. Graduates, as I close, my wish for you as you embark on this journey called life is that you will chase passion and purpose, for it will always trump monetary gain when we keep the important things important. I wish that each of you would be a voice for those whose voices have been neglected, disregarded, and silenced. We must be in the service of others, recognizing that often in helping others, we are indeed helping ourselves. I wish that you would be courageous enough to speak truth to power. Nelson Mandela, who was an South African black nationalist and spent 27 years in prison for fighting against the system of apartheid, he knew a lot about courage. And in 1994, he said, I've learned that courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave person is not one that does not feel afraid, but one who conquers that fear. I wish for you that you will learn and find balance between work and life. I wish that you will take time to discover and rediscover yourselves. Remember, all who wander are not lost. They're just simply adjusting for the next season. I wish that you will make a commitment for radical self-care. Radical self-care is moving from a focus on self-pampering to creating a space of self-protection. With these in mind, recognize that we all have the potential to be change makers. Nazareth College has prepared and equipped us to be the change that we need and the change that we desire to see in the world. Please know today that you matter, your contributions matter, and we eagerly anticipate the change that you will make in your sphere of influence. The distinguished scholar, racial and social justice advocate, Dr. E.B. Du Bois, offers the challenge which I shall leave with you today. This historian and father of American sociology says to us, now is the accepted time, not tomorrow, not some convenient season. It is today that our best work can be done, not some future day or year. It is today we fit ourselves for the future usefulness of tomorrow. Today is the seed time, and now are the hours of work, and tomorrow comes the harvest and playtime. So graduates, seize the day, seize your moment. Let us move forward and be the change that we want to see in the world, because we are change makers. Congratulations, class of 2022. Greatness awaits you.